Hi. Today we're going to talk about anxieties. As we have been going through many of my online intro workshops, a phenomenon we need to be mindful of when we do C5 and ET contact in general is that our ET friends have a very high vibration, very high frequency, and for some people that can trigger old anxieties. And why is this an issue? It can make the human body-mind physiology almost like breakdown or short circuit, like psychologically. And this state is very debilitating and certainly not something we want to have induced. So therefore we must, whatever, in a human body must do our best, do our utmost to heal our various anxieties. Anything we have experienced in life, it could be childhood trauma, it could be phobias, it could be adult experiences, it could be been in a car crash or close to a car crash or observed a car crash. It could be maybe being bullied as a child or as an adult. Various states of anxiety. It could be abusive relationships or abusive families or abusive bosses or colleagues. So we do ourselves and our ET friends a great service by sitting down and just really go inwards and maybe have a pen and paper ready. Really just note down situations that produced anxiety. You can ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And remember, it's not necessarily about the ETs. It's not what am I afraid of, let's say, in case I see a UFO or in case I see an ET. So by locating and pinpointing these emotions within us and sit with them and heal them like a child that needs comfort. Sit with the anxiety. Let the panic attacks rise to the surface. And through that, let it go. Through processing, letting it go. Because letting it go is not I would say it's not an active choice. Letting go is something that happens when we finish processing it, then it just naturally dissolves. When we actively let go of something, we just detach from it. We can do that with situations in our life, but we can't do that with our emotions. The only way we can let go of emotion is by going into the emotion, and being in it, and feeling it, and live through it until the emotion naturally dissolves. I've been doing C5 for about 10 years now. C5 Copenhagen have existed for 5 years, well, officially for 5 years, but it's about 10 years ago, 2013, I got the inspiration to create C5 Copenhagen. At the time, I had just started, I was studying at uni, and I was also working for an airline company, and I was doing psychic sessions and having clients, so I thought I couldn't manage also having a UFO group. So in 2018, it got birthed. And I would say through the last 5 years at least, I have come across, I've personally come across two individuals, unrelated to each other, who has done C5 and became psychotic. As in, they had to go to psychiatric hospital. So they were already sort of barely holding it together, and then C5 was what was like pushed them over the edge into psychosis. So we want to spread the gospel of C5, and we want our friends and everyone who's willing to listen to come and do some C5 or be inspired to do C5. But I have to tell you, Like, please don't encourage people you know who are mentally not balanced, because they could end up hurting themselves. But what we can encourage everybody to, including the ones who are mentally unwell, is that we all get mentally well and we all heal our anxieties, and that's always a good thing, right? And with CE5, well, now we have a purpose. The purpose is obviously just feeling better and being more whole and calm and enjoying life more. But if there's also like a carrot dangling saying, well, when you're better mentally, you can come join a Skywatch. So maybe that would spark some energy into people who would like to do some CE5, but maybe are not healed enough. Not yet. Everybody can be healed. There are some people who are so deep down their psychological chaos that even after many years, they're still not well enough. So again, I'm just emphasizing that don't, like, encourage people, but not so much. Don't be naive and think, oh, your friend can take it. Don't think like that, please. Because we are playing with very high frequencies, and it's not entertainment. And I know you people who are in this group, and in this group specifically, because this is a CE5 group, but it's also a CE5 group where we don't deal with paranoia and mental people with strong mental illnesses and so. But yeah, but this is why you might be balanced, but then something happens in your life in the future. It could be I don't know, a divorce, or it could be changing job or something, or maybe I don't know, you need to find a new home or something like that, and that can trigger some old trauma from your childhood, right? So as you're going through crisis in your life, maybe that's not the best time to do CE5. Well, maybe not, because it could also be a great time where you want to go and elevate your energy and maybe seek some guidance from the ETs. So, you know, to a certain degree, it might be an assistance, but if you're really feeling really bad, maybe leave the whole ET thing alone and get some therapy and healing. I have put in the video description some suggestions for healing modalities in case you or anyone you know could need it. What else is there? Well, luckily it's rare that people, I was about to say allergic reaction to CE5. That's maybe a good way of putting it. Breaking out. It's rare. It happens. But yeah. And even when we've been out doing CE5, we had an amazing night. We had an amazing sighting. The ETs came close, and we touched them interdimensionally, and we had visions and we sensed them. When we go home, there's always a bit of a changing of worlds, like coming home and just sitting at home and thinking, I just interact with ETs. And then the next morning you go to work and you just sit there and go, I just interacted with ETs. And that in of itself can be suddenly a lonely experience, because the people you had the experience with, you all, taking care of your daily life, and then you sit there and just want to shout this amazing experience into the world. So it is important it's important to keep in contact with people who have had experiences, so there's not a loneliness or feeling of isolation. We're gonna go into the healing meditation in a moment, and I'm being inspired to repeat that you do an exercise where you take pen and paper, sit down in meditation, and think about everything that makes you afraid. What are you scared of? Like, seriously, what? And it's not about being judgmental or defining if it's true or not. Some people are shit scared of the government. I am not. I have studied politics. I'm not afraid of the government. I kind of know the political apparatus and why this is it is. There are people who know the political apparatus. They're shit scared. It's individual, obviously, but I think a lot of people have not studied the political apparatus through political education. And it means that there's a lot of things about politics that makes them feel unsafe. So I'm not here to judge whether or not that fear is valid. They're feeling it, and therefore the feeling has to be taken serious. So you sit down with pen and paper and you write down, for example, if you're afraid of governments, okay, so you write that down and try to describe what the fear is about. It could be maybe feeling feeling unsafe or feeling like a victim or whatever the definition is. And then also write down, like let's say if you were bullied, write down I was bullied, there, those people, that happened. So really pinpoint your memories and really try to remember and spend days, weeks on this. So as you remember, it's a fun exercise. Let's remember all of you. When you next time go out and do ET contact, when these fearful, when the ET's high frequency affects your body vibration, mind vibration, you will already be in contact with these fearful memories that you won't get a shock because you already have connected to the memory. So you know what the memories are about. Always seek therapy if you need help. But I would say, I don't think there's a threshold for when we need help. I'm of that opinion. If there's just a tiny bit of unpleasant feeling, then that's enough to get therapy. Some people, they want to, it has to be a really bad trauma before they get therapy. But I think if there's anything unpleasant, get some healing, get it rinsed. It's like cleaning my home. If there's a little speck of dust, I clean it instead of waiting till there are dust bunnies everywhere. So, but that's just how I go about it. It works for me, maybe it will work for you as well. It's time for meditation. So if you just sit comfortably, undisturbed, and after the meditation, when I close this transmission, please stay in your meditative state as long as you can and melt into the feelings. Your fears are like a small child, a child that's afraid, a child that's not sure what's going on. And also a child who has seen something very traumatic and know what's going on and know how dangerous it is. Take a long, deep breath. There are many things in this world that makes us afraid. There are many uncomfortable situations, maybe uncomfortable people. Take a long, deep breath. In this meditation, I am sending you calming energies. You are safe. Remember, your fears are a response to your experiences. Your fears do not define your experiences. You have agency. You have power to remove yourself from the fearful states. fear transform into empowerment. Thank you for participating. And you can always rewatch this trip. Enjoy your calm empowerment.